Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Thailand and Cambodia agree to immediate ceasefire after weeks of deadly border clashes. Attacks on civilians and infrastructure halted from 12 noon local time. PM Modi to chair 5th National Conference of Chief Secretaries in New Delhi, focused on education, skilling, sports and extracurricular development. US President Donald Trump accuses Democrats of pushing hoax over Epstein files, claims Justice Department distracted from investigating election fraud. And in cricket, India women clinched third T20I against Sri Lanka by 8 wickets, take unassailable 3-0 lead in 5-match series. A top story, Thailand and Cambodia agreed to an immediate ceasefire on Saturday, the two countries said in a joint statement pledging to end weeks of deadly border clashes. The ceasefire agreement was signed by Thai Defence Minister Nathapon Nakvanit and his Cambodian counterpart T. Seha. The Thai and Cambodian defence ministers in a statement said both sides agree to maintain current troop deployments without further movement. It will involve all types of weapons, including attacks on civilians, civilian objects and infrastructures, and military objectives of either side in all cases and all areas, the statement added. The announcement comes amid peace talks between the two neighbours after border tensions reignited earlier in December.
After this ceasefire that we will maintain fully for 72 hours, the Thai side will release the 18 Cambodian soldiers who have been in Thai captive for 151 days already. This ceasefire is in accordance to the spirit of Kuala Lumpur Joint Declaration on October 26, 2025. On top of that, the ceasefire today will pave the way for villagers who have been evacuated from home along the border to return and live at their homes, do business and work in the farms.
Updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Friday that he planned to meet US President Donald Trump in Florida on Sunday. Zelensky said the meeting is aimed at resolving the Russia-Ukraine conflict after he revealed that a 20-point peace plan is 90% ready. He also added that Europe should be involved in upcoming talks and suggested online participation.
We have a broad agenda. It will be ready by the weekend, and I think that on Sunday we will have a meeting with President Trump in Florida. We will discuss these documents, as I said, security guarantees. There are several documents in this block, and it would be desirable to find an opportunity to discuss them all. Next is the economic agreement, which is still in the early stages, although there will be several agreements, and here we need to discuss the direction.
Ahead of Zelensky's weekend meeting with Trump, Russia has accused Ukraine and its European allies of trying to torpedo talks on a US plan to end its military offensive. Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov on Friday said that a text presented by Kiev this week was radically different to one Moscow negotiated further with Washington. He further said that ability to make the final push and reach an agreement will depend on our own work and the political will of the other party. Zelensky, meanwhile, said he held telephone talks on Friday with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz and a host of other European leaders and discussed preparations for the Sunday meeting and progress in talks. The EU leaders reiterated their unshakable commitment for a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney also spoke with Ukrainian President Zelensky on Friday and discussed the latest developments in ongoing peace talks aimed at ending Russia's conflict in Ukraine. Carney's office said in a statement that the Prime Minister affirmed Canada's commitment to Ukraine throughout these negotiations and emphasized the need to maintain pressure on Russia to negotiate. Meanwhile, people in Ukraine's capital city Kiev took cover in a metro station as the city came under a Russian attack early on Saturday. Ukraine's Air Force said Russian drones were targeting the capital and regions in the northeast and south. An air raid alert remained in effect in the capital some 4 hours after being introduced, while there were no immediate reports of damage or power cuts. The attack took place ahead of Sunday's meeting between Zelensky and US President Donald Trump. US President Donald Trump on Friday accused Democrats of driving what he called a hoax over newly discovered files related to convicted Jeffrey Epstein. He also claimed that the Justice Department was being distracted from investigating election fraud. In a post on social media, Trump said 1 million more pages of Epstein-related material had been found and urged authorities to release names linked to the case, claiming that Democrats, not Republicans, had ties to Epstein. The comments follow Trump's Christmas Day post in which he wished a Merry Christmas to people who loved Jeffrey Epstein. He also said Democrats would have a lot of explaining to do as more documents are made public under a new law passed by Congress. Nigeria signals that more joint strikes against jihadist groups are likely following a Christmas Day operation with the United States. Nigerian authorities say they provided intelligence support while the US military confirms multiple Islamic State-linked fighters were killed in northwest Nigeria. Officials in Nigeria emphasized that the operation is a joint effort and not directed against any religion. Foreign Minister Yusuf Tugar said coordination with Washington is ongoing and further action remains possible. Nigeria continues to face overlapping security threats from jihadist insurgents in the northeast and armed gangs in the northwest. However, the questions persist over the exact group targeted, with differing accounts from Nigerian and US officials. Argentina's Congress on Friday officially passed the 2026 budget, the first since President Javier Milei assumed office in late 2023. The budget was passed by 46 votes in favor, 25 votes against and 1 abstention. The budget includes spending of $101.8 billion and projects GDP growth of 5% and an annual inflation rate of 10.1%. It is the first time the president has got a budget through Congress. The government has been working under a modified version of 2023 budget since taking office. It did not file a bill for 2024 and Congress did not debate the one it sent for 2025. It is the first time in history that the same budget has been used for 3 years in a row. Now in Paris, French police have arrested a man suspected of stabbing 3 women on the metro as the city's end-of-year festivities were underway. Prosecutors say the attacks occurred on Friday along Line 3 of the Paris metro, which runs through central parts of the capital. The 3 women were stabbed at separate locations, including the Republic, Arts et Métiers and Opera stations between 4:15 and 4:45 p.m. Paris police said 2 of the victims were treated by emergency services and taken to hospital, though neither was in critical condition, while a 3rd woman later sought treatment on her own. Investigators used surveillance camera footage and mobile phone tracking to locate 25-year-old suspect who was arrested later in the afternoon in the Val d'Oise region north of Paris. Police said additional security teams were deployed on the metro line following the attacks. Updates on Bangladesh unrest now. A much anticipated concert by iconic Bangladeshi rock musician James, popularly known as Nagar Ball, was cancelled on Friday night following clashes at Faridpur Zilla School during its 185th anniversary celebrations. At least 25 people were injured in the incident. The concert was scheduled as the closing event of school's 2-day anniversary program. However, tensions escalated when a group of outsiders allegedly attempted to force entry into the venue, pelting bricks and stones. Students reportedly resisted the intrusion, leading to violent clashes in which several people were hurt. In view of the deteriorating law and order situation, the district administration directed organizers to cancel the show. An announcement was subsequently made calling off the concert. Faridpur Zilla School, established in 1840, is among the oldest government educational institutions in the region. Meanwhile, leaders and activists of Inqilab Manch on Friday blocked the Shahbag intersection in Dhaka, demanding justice for the killing of Sharif Osman bin Hadi. The protest began after Jummah prayers continued into the afternoon, with people from different sections of society joining the blockade. Demonstrators chanted slogans calling for accountability and warned that their movement would continue until those responsible for the killing are brought to justice. Similar protests were also held in Chattogram a day earlier, where speakers criticized the authorities for failing to arrest the prime suspects weeks after the killing and reiterated demands for swift justice. Some more stories. Former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak has been sentenced to 15 more years in jail on Friday after being convicted of abuse of power and money laundering in a sovereign wealth fund graft scandal. The court convicted him on 4 charges of abuse of power and 21 charges of money laundering. Najib was also fined $2.8 billion for his role in the plunder of billions from the now defunct One Malaysia Development Berhad more than a decade ago. The former Malaysian PM was found guilty of illegally transferring about $543 million from the state investment fund One Malaysia Development Berhad into his personal bank accounts. Meanwhile, Najib's lawyer Muhammad Shafi Abdullah said he would appeal the ruling on Monday. Najib is already serving a 6-year term after being convicted in a separate 1MDB case. As per the ruling, Najib's latest jail term would begin only after that sentence was completed. Now, Myanmar heads to the polls on Sunday as it battles with a raging civil war and a severe humanitarian crisis. Campaigning ahead of the vote remains subdued, with residents saying the election lacks the energy of previous polls. The military junta maintains the vote has popular support, while critics describe it as an attempt to enrich military rule. The country has been in nationwide conflict since the army ousted the elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi in 2021 coup. The United Nations, Western governments and human rights groups strongly criticize the election as undemocratic. Voting is being held in phases starting Sunday, followed by rounds on January 11 and January 25. Polling covers 265 of Myanmar's 330 townships, with dates for counting and results yet to be announced. Only 6 parties are contesting nationally, as many others are disbanded and anti-junta groups boycott the vote. Now, Brazil Supreme Court Justice Alexander de Moraes on Friday ordered the preventive detention of the former head of the country's Federal Highway Police, Silvini Vasquez. The Brazilian former police chief, who fled the country after he was convicted as an accomplice in the attempted coup trial of far-right ex-president Jair Bolsonaro, has been arrested in Paraguay. Vasquez was arrested in 2023 and placed under supervision with an electronic ankle bracelet pending trial. The ex-Brazil Highway Police chief was caught while trying to board a plane at Asuncion Airport in neighboring Paraguay in an attempt to reach El Salvador after breaking a court-ordered ankle monitor. Vasquez was recently sentenced to 24 years and 6 months in prison for his role in 2023 attempted coup, the same incident for which Bolsonaro is now serving a 27-year sentence for orchestrating the plot. A group of Venezuelans who were sent to El Salvador prison from the US and then returned to Venezuela called on Friday for the United States to comply with a ruling that would allow them to challenge their deportation in US courts. US Judge James Boasberg ruled this week that President Donald Trump's administration must urgently arrange for the return of hundreds of Venezuelans who were deported to El Salvador, saying their expulsion violated their due process rights and that they have the right to challenge their deportation in court. Under the ruling, the Trump administration must present a plan to allow their return within 2 weeks. Representatives of the detained Venezuelans said they wanted a chance to clear their names.
We call on both the United States government and the government of El Salvador to fully comply with the court order. We demand that the authorities of that country truly create conditions that allow us to take part in the hearing without once again putting our integrity and our lives at risk.
The Venezuelans were sent to El Salvador from the US in March after Trump invoked the 1798 Alien Enemy Act, a little-used wartime law to deport people classified as members of the Tren de Aragua gang without carrying out hearings or usual migration procedures. The deportations drew strong criticism from human rights groups and spawned a legal battle with the Trump administration. All right, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. New Zealand PM hails landmark free trade agreement with India, says FTA to boost jobs, trade. The high-level committee probing the IndiGo fiasco has submitted its confidential report to aviation authorities. And India observes Guru Gobind Singh Jayanti today. Devotees across the country mark the birth anniversary of 10th Sikh Guru with prayers, processions and community service. And England beat Australia to win the 4th Ashes Test.
Our choices now are slowly evolving. Cost and convenience still matter, but so does the planet. We are now replacing everyday items with greener and more sustainable alternatives for a better future.
Instead of clearing all the trees off, you try to incorporate fruit crops like jackfruit or mango and breadfruit.
I think there's a good way to develop the solution to use the smaller pieces of wood or that kind of wood what you can't use like a building.
We took steps to restore the rivers, clear the canals and ensure proper water flow. Initially we made furniture out of the wood. So we thought of an alternative and decided to make it into biochar. Now we supply this biochar to tea factories and boiler industries.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair the 5th National Conference of Chief Secretaries in New Delhi on Saturday and Sunday. The conference marks another important milestone in strengthening centre-state partnership through structured and sustained dialogue on national development priorities. Conference serves as the forum where centre and states collaborate, designing a unified roadmap to maximise India's human capital potential and accelerate inclusive, future-ready growth. It will be devoted to intensive deliberations aimed at finalizing a common development agenda. The central theme underscores a shift in policy thinking from viewing India's population merely as a demographic dividend to developing citizens as human capital. The discussions will focus on creating systems that nurture skills, productivity, focus on innovation and employability to support India's aspiration of becoming a developed nation. Conference is based on extensive deliberations between central ministries, departments, Niti Aayog, states, UTs and domain experts. It will focus on theme Human Capital for Viksit Bharat, covering best practices and strategies for states, UTs to follow. Conference will also include 6 special sessions on major governance and policy themes. Chief Secretaries, senior officials of all states, union territories, domain experts, among others, will be present at the conference. The India-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement is set to generate more jobs, higher incomes and expanded trade, according to New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon. In a post on social media platform X, Luxon calls the pact a landmark achievement that opens access to 1.4 billion Indian consumers. India and New Zealand conclude the comprehensive free trade agreement on December 22nd, marking a key economic milestone in Indo-Pacific region. The deal is among India's fastest concluded FTAs and aligns with the Viksit Bharat 2047 vision. It offers duty-free access for all Indian exports while strengthening trade, investment and MSME participation. The agreement also creates new skilled employment pathways, including a temporary visa route for Indian professionals. Now, the high-level committee probing the IndiGo fiasco has submitted its confidential report to aviation authorities, led by Joint Director General Sanjay K. Brahmane. The 8-member panel has concluded its probe into the recent incident. While the findings are not public, this report is the key next step. It will determine the official narrative on what went wrong and who was responsible for planning failures. The Indian Railways plans to double train capacity in major cities by 2030 to meet growing travel demand. The Railway Ministry says 48 cities including Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Patna, Bhopal and Puri will see originating train capacity increase over the coming years. Railway Board Chairman Satish Kumar has directed all zonal railways to enhance train handling capacity and identify new terminals in and around urban areas. The expansion will cover both suburban and non-suburban traffic, taking into account the distinct needs of each segment. India is celebrating Guru Gobind Singh Jayanti, commemorating the birth anniversary of the 10th Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Guru Gobind Singh, born in Patna Sahib, Bihar in 1666, is one of Sikhism's most revered spiritual leaders. In Bihar, special kirtan was held at Takhat Sri Harimandir Ji, Patna Sahib, as devotees gathered to offer prayers and listen to hymns from Guru Granth Sahib. The Gurdwara was adorned for the occasion, with worshippers participating in devotional singing and remembering the teachings of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, which emphasize courage, equality and selfless service. On the occasion of Guru Gobind Singh Jayanti, honouring the birth anniversary of 10th Sikh Guru, President of India Draupadi Murmu greeted the nation. Taking to social media platform X, the President wrote, and I quote her, "Warm greetings to all on the sacred occasion of Prakash Parv of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. With indomitable courage and rare sagacity, he inspired people to live righteously, uniting his followers into a force that bravely faced mightier adversaries, driven by the zeal to uphold justice and self-respect. He is a symbol of grace in adversity and sacrifice for ideals. May his teachings of unity, compassion and respect for all continue to guide humanity." Unquote. Prime Minister Modi also took to X on the occasion. Prime Minister wrote, and I quote, "On the sacred Prakashotsav of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji, we bow in reverence to him. He remains an embodiment of courage, compassion and sacrifice. His life and teachings inspire us to uphold truth, justice and human dignity. Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji's vision continues to guide generations towards service and selfless duty." Unquote. Prime Minister Modi also shared pictures from his visit earlier this year to Takhat Sri Harimandir Ji, Patna Sahib, where he had darshan of the holy Jode Sahib of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji and Mata Sahib Kaur Ji. And the birth anniversary of the 10th Sikh Guru is being marked across the country with prayers and community service.
Each year, millions honor Guru Gobind Singh Ji, a spiritual luminary warrior and founder of the Khalsa, whose teachings on courage and equality continue to inspire generations. Gurudwaras witness special prayer gatherings as devotees pay homage to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, remembering his teachings of courage, equality and sacrifice. Nagar Kirtan are taken out in several cities, while Langar Seva is also organized, reflecting the Sikh tradition of selfless service and collective harmony. At prominent Sikh shrines, including Anandpur Sahib, large number of devotees participate in religious programs throughout the day. Guru Gobind Singh Ji continues to remind the nation of values rooted in faith, service and unity. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
In the quiet lanes of Balli Maran, Old Delhi, stands Ghalib Ki Haveli, the final home of Mirza Ghalib, Urdu poetry's immortal voice. On his 228th birth anniversary today, we celebrate the legendary poet whose timeless works continue to inspire millions. More in this special report by DD India's Antara Sinha.
This is Gari Qasim Jan in Old Delhi's Balli Maran. And this is the mansion where Mirza Ghalib, the legendary Urdu poet, stayed for the last years of his life.
The simple verses written on these walls are as relevant today as they were during Ghalib's time. Works by various musicians and celebrated Hindi cinema lyricists, including Gulzar, have been greatly inspired by Ghalib. Legendary ghazal maestro late Jagjit Singh formed a memorable partnership with Gulzar to make one of the most iconic TV series on the late poet. Mirza Ghalib aired on Doordarshan National in 1988 and it was an instant hit with the audiences. Scores of literature enthusiasts continue to visit the Ghalib Ki Haveli in the heart of Old Delhi. This 19th century Haveli was gifted to Ghalib by a physician named Hakim and served as the poet's home from 1860 until his death in 1869. A renovated portion of this Haveli is now a museum showcasing Ghalib's life and works. The museum features various artifacts including handwritten poems, books, and personal belongings of the poet. Hailing from Agra, Ghalib belonged to a family of nobles and was educated in Persian, Arabic, and Urdu. This year, the 27th of December marks his 228th birth anniversary. Ghalib's poetry is considered some of the most iconic and influential in Urdu literature. His poetry explored themes of love, spirituality, social issues, and the human condition. Mirza Ghalib's life, works, and legacy continue to fascinate and inspire people around the world.
हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमा, लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. Urdu enthusiasts and Urdu literature enthusiasts must be familiar with these lines by Ghalib. These mean thousands of desires of mine, each worth dying for. Many of them I have realized, yet I yearn for more. With camera person Kumara Datta, this is Antara Sinha for DD India.
Sports updates now. In women's cricket, India beat Sri Lanka by 8 wickets in the third T20I to take an unassailable 3-0 lead in the 5-match series in Thiruvananthapuram on Friday. Put into bat, the visitors scored 112 for the loss of 7 wickets in 20 overs. For the host, Renika Singh Thakur picked up a 4-wicket haul while Deepti Sharma bagged 3 wickets. In reply, India overhauled the target for the loss of 2 wickets in just 13.4 overs, riding on Shefali Verma's unbeaten 79 of 42 balls. Renika Singh was declared player of the match. With this victory, the hosts have taken a lead of 3-0 in 5-match series. Ashes now. England held their nerves in a low-scoring thriller to beat Australia by 4 wickets in the 4th Ashes Test at the Melbourne Cricket Ground to claim a historic victory. A fighting England won their first Test on Australian soil in 15 years, restoring their pride with a gutsy victory in a clash that was over inside 2 days. While chasing in the second innings, Jacob Bethel top scored for England with a 40-run knock. Harry Brook and Jamie Smith remained not out and helped England cross the finish line. Earlier, Australia were bundled out for 132 in their second innings on day 2, setting England 175 to win. The hosts succumbed in their second session on day 2 with Travis Head top scoring with 46. England head into the last test 3-1 down. The effort has helped them avoid a series whitewash. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.